This is Power BI session day 13, and we are going to look into the column transformation. So in the last session, we have seen like how to use data cleaning techniques and what is data cleaning and why we are doing data cleaning. So we loaded some of the data and uh, we made some of the changes as well in the data, like changing the date or removing the NAs or hash NAs. So those things we have done and applied like trim, clean, and text transformation in Power Query after loading the data to the Power BI data model. So I have deleted that data right now. And the today's session is mostly about the column transformation. So like, what is column transformation? So if you see in the document, it is saying like column transformation in Power Query help structure data by renaming, splitting, merging, pivoting, and unpivoting columns. And the objective is like to split the data, rename the columns, create pivot, apply consistent naming convention. Like, for example, if you see here customer ID in a different way, so we can rename those data as well, right? Or we can rename those column as well with the help of column. So this data set, what we have connected in our Power BI data model, that is coming from SQL. So mostly this data is, I can say it's a clean data. We don't have to like work much on this data model, like cleaning anything um, or renaming anything. So that is one thing we can do. But yes, I mean, there are options like here you can see like what all the options are available for us to transform the data or like make the changes to the data, right? So it is showing like this preview may be 10 years old, so you can click on either refresh and you can refresh the data. So let's see if our SQL server is up and running or not. First thing, so if it is not running, then probably you might get an error as well, like the data source is not connecting. So in the last sessions, like in second or third session, we have seen like if our database engine is not running up and running, so then there might be a cases we see there is an error while loading the data in the Power Query also. So we have to make sure like our database is up and running so that all the data set what is connected here in the backend, so in the Power Query engine, we should be able to see those data, right? So that is the objective also to, let's just refresh this. And what we can do, we can rename the columns. Like for example, in the document I have given here and split that columns as well, merge the columns, pivot the columns, and unpivot the column. So those things we are going to see here, right? So for example, let's say it is taking some time. Let me just, sometimes you have to one, when we are working with the complex data model, so we need to clean this cache as well. So in the case of while refreshing all this data, so we can click here and we can refresh the tables. So see here it is taking some time to load the data. So click on refresh all and let's get this table to be refreshed. So meanwhile we can see like what all the things we can do and split the region code. So what is the difference between like if you have to create a pivot and unpivot? So this is like this can be a interview question as well, like what is pivot and what is unpivot. So pivot is like when we have to create or bring the values to the column section and row section, and we want to create like pivot in Excel, right? So all the attributes in a different column. So that we can do while creating the pivot. Unpivoting, we want all the attributes in a single column and values for those KPI in another column. So that is what exactly is unpivot. So when would you use split in delimiter? So basically in production data, we don't see like delimiter or splitting of the data or anything. Usually now you see these are very clean data. So, but let's see the examples like what we can do. So renaming the column. So I can just rename this column with product key with the product ID, but it might impact your other fact tables, right? So if I am making changes to here, product key to product ID, the changes will be done, but the problem will when I'll be creating a key. So in the dim product we have a product key, we don't have a product ID. So here also you have to make the changes while making changes in any table. So this is one thing. Merging the column, I can say, like if I want to, for example, there is a dim customer table. So let's say first name and last name, I want to merge these two columns. So I can right click and merge column. So it will, if you want any separator or something, you can just keep a space and click OK. So it will give you, like, for example, say right click and merge columns. Let's not give anything. So merge naming style. So here you see there are a lot of things are coming as a um, false as well. But here you see the names are getting merged. But here the middle name is got screwed up, this column, right? So this also we need to make sure like we are doing things correctly, or we can remove this column if it is not correct. So that is also we can do. And if you see here the gender, so merging of the column can be done, renaming the column can be done. Pivot column. So for example, if I created a group of this data, so you go here and group the data by, for example, product key. Let's say I want to group this data by total product cost, and then unit price, and then let's say extended amount. Okay, and I want to sum. So you want to sum this total product cost as well. So here we can write it like total product cost. This is the new column. So let's add this one column and group by this. So it is created a four column, and then it is what exactly it is doing. It is grouping the product cost. I mean, it is aggregating the data, right? So it is aggregating the total data and it is showing in this way. So now you see everything is looking like this. We can present the data. Now, if I have to unpivot this whole column, so I can select all these four columns by control and select. Okay. And if you want, you can click here unpivot column. So this is what it exactly is called, unpivot columns. Instead of four rows, we four columns, we have two columns, and now we have rows more. Okay, so we see 180 rows. So if we have to something, somebody is requesting, okay, can you give me this view where I can see the extended amount and the value in the Power Query itself, so that we can do. So this is what exactly the pivot or the unpivot. Now if I want to create a pivot, so obviously we have to make sure like the pivots what we are creating, that is correct, right? So if I say like marital status, gender, and email address, right? So let's group by these columns and click OK, right? So now you see the count of each rows, it is by default it is giving me. Now I want to create a pivot based on gender, right? So I can go to the transform option, and here you see unpivot or pivot column option in the Power Query. So if you select pivot based on the marital status, or I want to change it email address or count, so we can select those, or like based on, let's say, marital status, and click OK. So it will create a pivot, like what is the count of each of the gender wise the data, right? So this is how like you can create a pivot when working with the complex data set in Power Query. So that is column in the column transformation. And splitting the address lines, like if I have address, for example, let's see if we have address complex here. So for example, this address line 1 and address line 2. So if I want to split this, I can go to the home button. You can go, and here you have the split column. So by number of characters also, or by uppercase to lowercase as well, you can split. So it will split the data, right? But if I want based on something called by digit to non-digit, so the digits will get split, the non-digits will be in a different column. So you don't want to bring the in your view, you don't want to see the digits, you just want this one. So we can just split that column, right? And we can remove those things. So that is one thing. Phone number, for example, here you see, so by the number of characters or by delimiter. So here you can provide your quoted character, or in the advanced option, we can see number of columns you want to split by one or two, right? Split using a special character. So we need to insert like what is the special character. So here we see we have a tab, carriage return, line feed, carriage return. So we can use those columns like carriage return. So if I don't want something like this, so I can use it. But yes, I mean, we don't have anything like that. So we can just split the data by default. So it will get by default, if you see, it got splitted, right? So all the numbers into one, and after that, it got splitted by the dash, and you have the data. So these are some of the basics transformation which we can use in Power Query to um, do some kind of a cleaning, or having something consistent in our data set. So our data set is already consistent. We don't have to work much on this data, I would say. But yes, I mean, here if you see, currently it is not. But let's see if we have a data. So we have a data, like we have a name, but it doesn't have anything, right? It doesn't have whether it is I, whether it is Mr. or Miss. So based on like gender, we can identify like whether if it's a male, then it will be Mr. If it is female, then it will be Miss, right? So that we can add like using the conditional column here. So here we have option column from example is also there, so we can use that also. So these are the basics transformation in Power Query for the column transformation, so which we can apply and clean the data. So thank you very much for watching this, and stay tuned, like, subscribe, and comment, and share your feedback as well, like what exactly you would like to learn in Power BI. So we will be looking all these topics. There are a lot of topics are coming up. So we'll be looking each topic, and there is some hands-on exercise I'm giving here. So if you are learning this or watching this YouTube, I would suggest you to load the data, sales region data, and split the region code, merge the. You can download the data from Kaggle. So that is the best platform to download any sales data or any data, clean data or unclean data. And you can try these methods. And if there is any doubt or questions you have or queries you have related to column transformation, please feel free to mention in the comment section. So thank you very much. Stay tuned. Bye.